Greetings, everybody. I want to welcome you here to Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. So we're doing an episode. It's Thursday night. We're doing the episode of What's New. I've chosen the album Invincible Shield from Judas Priest, recently released on March the 6th of this year. It's about 52 minutes or so in length, on the Columbia Epic label, also produced by Andy Sneap. Appearing on the album, of course, Rob Halford on vocals, Glenn Tipton on guitars, Richie Faulkner also on guitars, Ian Hill on bass, and Scott Travis on the drums. Andy Sneap also doing some guitars on this as well. Okay, so this album, there are two editions of it. There's the regular edition, which comes out, and then there's the special edition, which has 3 extra songs on it. I was supposed to get the album last weekend, but I wasn't able to get where I wanted to be to get it, so I didn't get it yet. So hopefully I'll have it by when I do the new material album thing at album hauls at the end of the month. So there are basically, I think there's 11 tracks on the original version. Yeah, I count 11. And then you have 3 additional tracks on the special edition. So I'm going to talk a little bit about all of them, pretty much. This is a really good album. I like this a lot. I think it's as good as their last album. Some people seem to think the last album's better. That's fine. It's close, I think. Reasonably close here. Sorry, I got something in my throat here again. Anyways, so yeah, really strong guitar playing. I think Richie Faulkner's guitar and the soloing on this album is really good. I imagine Glenn Tipton is doing some of this soloing as well on the album. If you see the videos, he's not in them, so you don't see whether he's actually playing them or not. But anyways, Richie Faulkner handling the lead stuff in the videos. Really excellent guitars, I think. The guitar riffing is really catchy. There's a lot of really catchy riffs. Strong album. Rob Halford's voice is, I'm always amazed that guys like in his 80s now, and he still has that voice. Like, it's just incredible. Like, to do a voice like that is hard, man. I think it's got to be hard, and he's still pumping it out there. He can still scream with the best of them. I was working with some people today, and one of the guys, a young guy, said, it's like dad's rock, right? Whatever, Well, I'm a dad, so I guess it's my kind of rock. So anyways, also I think Scott Travis's drums, really excellent on the album as well. I think the overall instrumentation on the album is excellent, and I think the songs themselves, really catchy. Lots of really catchy tracks on here. Even the singles that they put out, really good, and some of the deep cuts, really excellent as well. But I'm going to go over the tracks a little bit. I gave most of the songs over a 7, which is pretty strong in my books. So the first song is Panic Attack. That's the one that most people will know because it's being played out there. This has got a little bit of a keyboard opening, a little bit different than you might get from most heavy metal bands, but this has that kind of prog sound at the opening here, which I like. And then it cranks it. Guitars really strong, really got a priesty sound to it, and really catchy riff. And I think this opening track is pretty killer, right? Second track, Serpent of the King. This may be probably one of the 2 or 3. I don't really have a favorite track yet. There's like 2 or 3 of them that are really strong. This is one of them. Another really catchy, fast-paced, heavy track. Halford is at his best on this. His vocals are very strong. I think the video is very good too. I enjoyed that. Pretty metal-like stuff, and of course the guitars, again, very strong here. Devil in Disguise. This is a bit of a weaker track, one of the weaker tracks on the album. Not a bad track. I don't think they have any bad ones on this, but this one I just found a little bit on the weaker side. It's a bit more melodic sounding, It's not as fast a pace as some of the other songs, but definitely got some real clear sound to it as well. Gates of Hell, another nice heavy metal guitar sound, real catchy Priest-like song again. I like the twinning effect of the guitars here. I like that part. I wish they'd do a little bit more of that. I think Travis is playing really strong on this track as well. Next song up, Crown of Thorns. Didn't like this one as much. It's a more toned down kind of part to it, but not bad at all. The solo was really probably the dominant part on that song. Then we got As God Is My Witness, getting like pretty close to the middle of the album now. Kind of a speed metal song, but does have some melodic parts to it. The solo is strong, and the vocals again are top notch. Trial by Fire, another really strong melodic kind of guitar sound to it. The vocals again top notch. Almost all the vocals on this album are top notch. I also like the scream that he does at the end of this, really good. Then there's 2 songs in a row here, Escape from Reality and The Sons of Thunder. Another 2 songs that I would say rate very high, could be my favorite song eventually, or could be my top songs here. These are the first one, Escape from Reality, a little more melodic. Vocals kind of Reaper-ish sounding. I don't know how you want to say that, but it's a little bit more progressive, this song, than you might get with a lot of their other stuff. I seen a little bit more of that progressive sound. And he actually has a part in this song, at least towards the back part of his vocals, Rob Halford does, that have a very Ozzy flavor to them. Like I hear Ozzy's voice here when he's singing this part. Yeah, really, really catchy song. Sons of Thunder, of course, the other one I really like quite a bit. Fast-paced, some classic Priest-like sounds here. Maybe the best song on the album. It definitely is right there. I think it could be my favorite here. Giants in the Sky. It's a little bit more melodic, a little bit slower, but heavy as well. Then you have Invisible Shield. Actually, Invisible Shield, I put it at the bottom because when I was writing my notes out, I forgot to include it in my notes, and when I got to listening to it, it was at the bottom. So it's actually the 3rd track on the album, not where I've got it here in the 11th spot. So I apologize for that. Another heavy track. The solo was really good here. I think Faulkner is excellent. I seen the live part, thought he was excellent. Halford once again, very strong, and overall I found this a very catchy track as well. So the 3 bonus tracks, I had to decide whether it was worth doing them, because I wasn't sure that I liked the album enough to buy the extra $10 for this album, but I think they're worth it. I heard them. Flight of Your Life. This is a very kind of typical 70s style kind of Priest sound to it. So yeah, I did like that. That in itself, that one of the 3 extra tracks, that one's my favorite. It's definitely a challenger for the best track on the album. The next song, Vicious Cycle, fantastic, really catchy. Catchy as hell, actually. And then you have the last track, The Lodger. This is a slow, melodic, almost ballad-like song, which is not something I generally like, even though I know Priest does a better job at this than a lot of bands. I still don't really care for the ballad-type things, so for me, this was probably the weakest track of the 3 bonus tracks, maybe the weakest track overall on the entire album. But an excellent album. It's an album that I definitely want to have. I wished I could have got it last week. Sometimes I just can't do what I want to do, but it's definitely a track that I want to have. The big thing about this album too is that I think that so far on my What's New episodes this year, I think this is the best album that's come out at this point, that I've heard, that I've listened to in its entirety, and that I've done on this show. So when I'm going to do a mid-season kind of top 10, and then I'll do a end of the season top 20. But when I get to the mid-season, I'm pretty sure at this point in time, this has got to be the front-running album for that #1 spot. And it's between this and the Steve Hackett album, which I also like quite a bit. I'm actually, when I go to get the Judas Priest album, and that'll likely be either this weekend coming or the following weekend. It just depends really on the weather. I don't like going there when it's really freezing out, because I usually bike my way everywhere. This album I'll probably get, and I'll probably get the Steve Hackett album at the same time, so I'll have both of them for the end of the month. I'm hoping that if I can go early, I can get them before my new album hauls for the end of the month. Anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this episode of What's New. And if you liked it, please hit the like and subscribe. Any comments about the album itself, if you had a chance to listen to it, or if you're going to get a chance to listen to it, please put those comments in the comment section below. They're much appreciated. And we will see you again next week for another episode of What's New. Don't forget the notification bell. Take care and have a good one. Bye.